All right. Sorry I'm a little late by 2 minutes here. Today's date is the 22nd of July, and we're here and well, and I'm all over the place. So, excuse me, folks. All right. I'm back, sorta. Well, today's topic is your heart is amazingly like the sun. And one of the good things about that title is, I believe, under the system called the Kabbalah. I look a little wild here. Excuse me for a moment. Under the system called the Kabbalah, um, the sixth splendor or sphere, called Tifereth, is also known as the House of Beauty, and the sun is there. And so, inside of us, symbolically, the heart is like the sun. The heart radiates a lot of energy. The heart spreads a lot of energy throughout the body. The heart is constantly pumping blood throughout, creating this circulation throughout our entire structure. So the sun is, in that sense, like giving everything into the world, into the galaxy, every sun. And in that process, in that journey, everything around the sun, and as we say, used to say growing up, everything under the sun is not new. So it's not new news, it's just the presence of opportunity, ideas, generosity. The feeling of compassion flows through the heart, a state of forgiveness and gratitude, a state of wellness. All these things are a part of how the heart is connecting with us, how the heart is relating to us, and how we feel that as we generate, excuse me, as we generate and receive, we feel the presence of our heart. And see, and so we are, or should be, greatly blessed by the thought of that. We should be. Because it's a good thing when we can receive the presence as in gifts to ourselves, to the world, and this is an important thing for us to realize. So, we are in essence consciously receiving light throughout the body from the heart. And we know that when we're not feeling well, the heart feels troubled. Or that's the statement that sometimes we give to each other. We might say we feel overwhelmed, or a person has a stroke, or a person has a heart attack, okay, because the heart is under siege. by worry, by anxiety, by stress. That stress can come emotionally, can be physical stress in the body, health wise, can be mental stress that comes through. So sometimes anxiety and fear can overtake the body and appears to settle into the heart. So it's our hope that we can conquer whatever is the block or the hurdle that can affect the heart. And most of the time is striving to be upbeat or striving to be one who nurtures others. There is that sense of striving to be good toward others, but also, can we be good for ourselves? Can we put energy into ourselves for goodness, to be positive? Now, we're going to have those experiences in life where everything is up one moment and down the next. And occasionally, life seems to have a smooth path until, we're like, life can be like riding a steer. Everything seems to be okay behind the gate until they open the gate. Now the rider's got to stay on the back of the steer or the back of the stallion, the back of the horse. There's so much that's happening for us, but not necessarily to us, but happening through us. And sometimes we can see the sun as a great gateway. It's just like the hymn of Akhenaten on the papyrus. It shows him making offerings with Nefertiti behind him and his family behind him, making offerings to the sun or exalting the sun as being high in the sky. And yet the rays that come out have these little cupped hands. And these are like the rays or the answers to one's prayers, or the healing factor that's being given off by the sun, the nourishment, the elevation. And so we might see today or any day in our life as being one of movement through the heart, living through the heart, being in the heart, being seated in the heart, and sitting with life's issues. Sometimes I think I heard earlier this week or last week that someone said, I don't know who the person was, and I'm not trying to quote this exactly, but they said the challenges that we go through sometimes in life are just things that we kind of place there, because we're always looking for the next hurdle, the next thing to be conquered. And so then the so-called quote-unquote challenge becomes a lesson, because as we ride through the challenge that we thought someone else placed there, we realize we put it there some time ago. These challenges are like markers in our lives. And as we reach each marker, just like when you're traveling down a road, each telephone pole has a mark on it, right? There's certain signs that have marks on them letting you know almost how many feet from the center of the city, how many miles you could be from the center of the city. They're what they call the mile markers, right? So the heart can open us up to these markers in our life, these places where we can begin to stretch out, reach for higher goals. when we could stretch out and seek a better way. And sometimes we have to get beyond ourselves. And the only way we can get beyond ourselves is to go within. The more that we go within, the more opportunity to discover what needs to be released, what needs to be let go of, what we no longer have to live by, what we no longer have to be, or say, or do, or have. The late Reverend Ike used to say, you got to get yourself in a position to have a desire to be, do, and have. So we have to look at what are the things that are important to us in our lives. What are those things that we treasure the most in our lives? Some of us, like myself, I treasure peace. I treasure unconditional love. I treasure grace and harmony. But I also treasure peace in my life. Sometimes when we are looking around and seeing what others may have, and I remember my late Mother Grace used to say this all the time. She used to say, don't be concerned with what others have or may have or appear to have. Because I remember, you go hang out with your friends when you're young. This is like grade school, middle school. When I was growing up, we didn't have a middle school. It was just still grade school. And then you have high school. And I used to think, wow, I'm hanging out with my Jewish friends, or I'm hanging out with these other friends, these other people of color friends. And I used to think, wow, they're living in a great house, and mine is stuffy and small, and wow. And my father has some dysfunctional issues, and their parents seem to be great. Until one day the bubble got busted. And I was over a friend's house. His name is Reggie. And Reggie had a younger brother. Reggie was the oldest, so he had two younger siblings. I forget his sister's name, but the one behind him was David. And I couldn't remember what the sister's name was because she was very young, very, very young. And I remember they had in our house in the basement, we had a ping pong table, because my dad loved ping pong, and all his friends, the radio and TV business, or some school teachers we knew would come by, and they loved playing table tennis. They played it so hard they put the heel in the wall many times. But I would be at my friend Reggie's house, and we would be shooting pool. And I remember that his mother and my mother were pretty close friends. And he asked his mom, could I stay over for dinner? Or could I be over like a sleepover? And my mom was a little reluctant, and so was Reggie's mom. But I didn't know why. Well, we found out early. Right after dinner, I heard his father come in the house. And when he found out that I was the youngest of the two brothers in his house, he wanted to say hello. And my friend Reggie, he kind of looked at me and then he looked down. And I was wondering why he was doing that. And then I realized his dad was very much had a condition like my dad. Only difference was his dad worked at, I think, the Waldorf Astoria, where he was the doorman. They always had a doorman that would greet you coming in and greet you coming out. And this one particular night, he came home very intoxicated. And when he opened that basement door, my friend Reggie said, "Oh, Francis is going to come upstairs and meet you, Dad." He said, No. It's all right. I'm coming downstairs. And what we heard was him fall. all the way down the stairs. And all I could do was look away as it reminded me of my father's condition. The only difference was my father would get up with a pout. His father turned everything into a laughing manner. In fact, when his dad fell down the steps, he rolled up and stood up like nothing ever happened and said, I do that all the time. And I was like, wow. But I could see my friend's heart sink. And then I now understood why my friend was such a prankster in school and always showing a bright light on his face, always jovial. But that's what he had to do because he was seeking beauty, he was seeking harmony. And many of us, boys and girls at that time, were seeking that. We didn't realize that someone in our family groups and friends were struggling like this. And our mothers taught us how to be upbeat, even in the face of things going on, to show the beauty, that inner beauty, and at the same time, show strength, develop strength for yourself. And so it was quite a difficult thing to see. So today's topic is a little bit like that. Hey, my friend Cynthia. So it was always that presence and always trying to see what was happening and see what was going on. And realizing, hey, I'm not the only child in Hempstead or the neighboring town, Freeport, going east of me, Roosevelt and Freeport, or south of me, Rockville Center and Baldwin, or going the other direction, which is actually west, Rockville Center and Baldwin. Hey, I had no idea that all of my friends, or most of my friends, were experiencing the same thing I was. And our mothers were trying to keep our hearts buoyant with hope. So when this title says your heart is amazingly like the sun, we know the sun continues to burn bright. It continues to show itself high in the sky. It continues to appear to us to be rising when it's our planet that's actually turning. So we see it rising in the east, setting in the west. And sometimes if we see it with our compasses and so forth out, we'll realize it's not actually rising in the same place or setting in the same place that it appears to set. It's a few degrees south or north, depending on where you live and how the earth turns and how you see it. But why would I be talking like this? Because life changes by degrees. Degrees, there's one definition for the word degree, or many, D-E-G-R-E-E. Degree is angle. But also degree means increment of light. And light is symbolic of the word truth. So throughout our lives, we are experiencing increments of truth and light, and so therefore compassion and harmony and peace. And when we experience anger and upsets, these things are part of the journey. And I remember the comedian Eddie Murphy said at an early point in his career, he was on the Arsenio Hall show. Now, Arsenio, I think, is Aquarius. That's a fixed air sign. And Eddie is a cardinal fire sign, which was Aries. And he said he wasn't going to let the sun set on him. He wasn't going to look in the past. He was just going to continue to look forward. He said that he learned from another comedian that no one gets through life without being touched by the different life's experiences. There's nobody that goes through life that has never had any hurdles and has fallen off the horse, so to speak, has fallen into a valley, tripped and fell into a rut and stayed there for a while. Everybody all over the planet is experiencing these ups and these downs. And we all do our best to live through them and have less hurdles as we go through life. Some people, and again I'll quote my mother, she says, son, if you think you have it bad now, wait till you go out these doors and maybe you go off to college. I would love for you to be able to go away to college so you can experience outside yourself and you can see that others, good, bad, or indifferent, rich or poor, or middle income, has some stuff going on, has life. And I did when I went to Bard College. I met the wealthy of the wealthiest. They were having problems. So if I used to complain about my parents a little bit, not so much my mom, other than she was like the helicopter mom. But she did that for a reason. And I understood now. And despite my father's problems, I had to look when I got to college and realize, God, the light that these other people have, these opportunities that they're given in life, when they squander them away. Or they grew up wealthy, where, they had family vacations all over the world. And then there were times when their parents went away for vacation, but they had the maid and the butler living in the house. And that's all they had, except occasionally some friends coming over and partying with them. Amazing. So I used to complain. I said, I only got one good parent. These kids, half the time, didn't even see their parents. 8 months out of the year, spread out, didn't even see their parents. So I stopped complaining. I said, okay, I got one good parent, one bad parent, believably or so-called, but I got both of them. So I might as well stop complaining about my dad and try to understand my father's condition. I understood my mother's, but I had to understand my father's condition. And I say that because the sun used to represent father, and the moon always symbolized the mother. And in some other aspects, we see like the yin and the yang symbol, the paisley shapes, white and black, the white side having a black dot, and the black side having a white dot, and that curve like S shape. And the yang side was always pointed out as being the white side with the black dot, and the yin side was always the feminine side with the white dot. And it was saying that no two sides that we see are 100% pure. One has a little bit of the other in it in order to what? Function better. So when we look at the heart symbolically, the heart in us is functioning continuously. And everything that we have flowing through it is a part of it. The heart is this pump, pumping the action, giving. And here we are, the benefactors of that blood going through, pumped throughout our entire system. blood pumping through our veins and blood vessels pumping through the brain. The heart is amazingly like the sun. It just keeps going and going and going. However, it's not going to last forever. So we have to change the way we do things. If we want more peace, we have to exude peace. If we want more unconditional love, we have to exude unconditional love. We have to be the giver, not just be looking to receive. Many people on the planet are looking to receive all the time. And then there's those of us that are giving all the time. We got to have a balance. The balance is essential for both sides to survive and thrive. The heart is a unique place. It's as expansive as we want it to be. In the ancient times of Kemet, with Akhenaten and Nefertiti, and all the rest before them, there's this one deity that they had before Akhenaten's reign, and he was called Anubis. Well, that's the Greek name he was given, Anubis. But his Kemetic name was Anpu, Anpu. Anpu was the one who showed up with the scales. Anpu was the one that took you down into the netherworlds, took you south upon your going into your state of transition before he took you to the light. Anpu, as Anubis, was therefore like a guardian. And on the scale, he'd be weighing two things. He'd weigh the heart of the one that was mummified against a feather. And here's that phrase, must be light as a feather. So if the heart was heavy, he was saying in so many words, it's going to take you a long time to get back into the light of the truth of who you are. But if the heart is lighter than the feather, and the feather dips down low, you're this special soul. You're going to immediately go into the light, go into the gateways to ascend back into the divine swing of things, to the sun. And in their time, the great central sun, Sirius B, looking to go that way. So, your heart, my heart, the heart of others, must become light one day, and not burdened by pressure, not burdened by sadness, not burdened by fear, not burdened by illusions, not burdened by falsehoods or untruths or lies, not burdened by a miscreated ego, not burdened by misjudging others or being prejudiced toward others or biased, not controlling others because you want to have it your way, but you got to control everybody else's way, not being power hungry so much that you become frail by the burden of the power. And maybe 10, not even caring to love yourself or others, or 11, not having any dreams or visions to speak of, to strive for. and 12, lacking a destiny, not having a clear purpose of what you're here to do. Yes, your heart is amazingly like the sun. Just like the earth, Mother Gaia is a thinking creature, organic and alive and teeming with life on every level. So are the flames in the sun. So are the flames beyond that sun in the great central sun. Every galaxy or constellation has a sun, has a gateway, and all life comes and goes out of that gateway. In numerology, we call it the cipher, Cipher, zero, the womb. All numbers go back to zero, and all the numbers come out of zero. And this is a cycle. And every number that comes out of zero is a reflection, a facet of the zero. It's just not out here by itself. So it doesn't matter how many numbers you got traveling out to infinity. Every last one of them numbers come from the womb, the zero, the place of perfection and the potentiality of what's perfect. Your heart is amazingly like the sun. It's magical. But we got to take care of the heart. Before you can take care of someone else's heart, you have to take care of your heart. So that's why we learn to eat better, exercise better, do things differently, give the body ample rest, feed the body plenty of nourishment. All these things are important to our betterment and to the betterment of the people that you're connected to and the people that are connected to them. Each one of us is our own sun. We carry it here in the center of our chest, in the physical heart. We got chambers in there too, rooms that are expansive. We got chambers, you can call them the chakras if you want, and the meridian points if you want. We got hundreds and thousands of them on different layers happening throughout our body. And our true experience is really happening on the inside of us and not really on the outside, because what we see on the outside is nothing more than a reflection of the inside. So that's why we find ourselves sometimes cluttered. And I can tell you I'm one of them people. We could have a lot of clutter, and they say sometimes the clutter is because the mind might be cluttered. For me, sometimes it's laziness. No clutter, just laziness. But it's okay. Our hearts are amazingly like the sun because the sun is bright. It has a brightness to it. That's why one of my other talks were you want to shine bright like a beacon. Not just during the daytime, but during your rest moments, during your meditation moments. You want to project this light, this truth, this ongoing truth about yourself, the infinite part, the I am presence inside of you. Or some might say the prime creator. You just stay in Star Trek, right? Prime creator. Prime is first. First. So we have to look within and get clear now. I think someone wrote recently, and I should have had these notes in front of me, that a shift has already taken place. It took place on June the 20th, which happens to be Father's Day. And on that day was summer solstice. And this shift occurred, whereas there's a conscious split, where some people look like they went this way and some people look like they're going to go that way. But the person said, well, the illusion is people are splitting off from each other. But guess what? The path that they're choosing to stay on is going to make them merge together further down the road. And when they see each other down the road, they may only recognize a bit of who each other is through the eyes, maybe. But if you are living in your heart, you might recognize them through the vibrational expression that the heart is continuously giving off. You will come to a point, all of us, where we'll see that we're on the same level sometimes, the same frequency, and yet we might appear to be higher or lower, but that's the illusion. Like Akhenaten and Nefertiti, the beloved one, said, nobody here is higher or lower. That's the illusion. That's just a grade point system. But in reality, one is just as better than 99 million. And zero is the mama of all of them. So we learn to go within. We learn to be this sun, the presence of the sun. We learn to shine that presence so that others can see you clearly. And don't worry, there's some days you don't feel like shining it. It's all right, because there's others shining. Not necessarily for you, but they have to shine for themselves as well. I feel like I'm supposed to share a meditation. So I want each one of us that's watching this, and for those of you who will watch this later, I want you to put your hands in front of your body. Rest them in your lap, your hands. Rest your hands in your lap. Or maybe like this part of your hands down to here on your lap. And I want you to look into the space between your hands. And I want you to feel or envision light, energy flowing out of your hands, going back and forth. We used to do in Tai Chi classes. Many people have done this outside of Tai Chi classes. They would bring their hands back and forth without touching them, as slow as they can. And they would feel the actual electromagnetic energy flowing in the aura around the hands and limbs. But they could feel this ball of energy. So I want you to do the same. You can leave your hands in the lap or on a table in front of you, but I just want you to feel that energy. And I want you to follow the outline of the energy. And as you forget about everything else, just be in the moment in this space. And if you do this, either down on your lap or, if I prefer, right in front of your chest, in the center of your sternum, right there. And if you start to just breathe gradually in and out through the nose without pausing, at the top of the inhalation or the base of the exhalation, if you just allow yourself to feel this energy moving in and out, eventually you're going to feel something that you can't move it any closer, but you can certainly move the hands away. And then you stop and it means to circle the light like the sun, amazingly like the sun. Your heart is radiating all this energy into your limbs. Not only is this happening throughout your chest and going into your arms, out to your hands and palms and fingertips, but my friend, it's traveling down your body, through your legs, and it's causing you to spread them a little bit. And if you pay attention to the feeling in your body, you're going to feel it ricochet around your body, up your back, up your neck, over your head, down your ears and eyes and nose and mouth. you're going to feel something unique. And I want you to remember this energy is flowing from your heart, and your heart is like the sun. Your heart only knows how to give, but it also knows underneath the current of giving is receiving. So as you do this, I want you to feel the presence of this light. And I want you to know that you are fine. And I want you to feel that no matter what's going on in your life, you're not the only one experiencing it. Sometimes we need a challenge, and sometimes it's not easy. But you know, it was never meant to be easy. We kind of built out this thing called the matrix. We made these hurdles, these bars, these roads, these grids, lifetime after lifetime. So as things change, we have to go with the change. And you know, there's something I learned about myself, not just from the whole week, but this whole thing of trying to market myself and stuff. I don't have to know everything. I just have to be consistent. I don't have to be everything. I just have to be present. I don't have to be everywhere, but I must be where I am in the heart for myself. You know, I have a great deal of respect for women who've gone through womanhood or who have children. Man has no idea. Man don't even remember when he was a boy. Man don't even remember when he was in the womb of a woman. And that's what fraternal orders and Masonic and Shriner stuff is all about. They're supposed to be remembering that there's this womb that they come from. And there's a reason why they wear the top hat and the white gloves and the cane, supposed to be the gentleman. But there's a reason they wear an apron. They're personifying two things, a woman and a man. They got an apron on. The womb is a unique place. It is a sacred temple unto itself. Every pyramid is a womb. I got an obelisk over here in marble that my sister gave to me for my birthday, because she knows I love obelisks, just like, you know, I love a crystal ball. And that pyramid on top of the obelisk is this, the head. And the rest of the obelisk is the body. It is the spine. We have to all go within. And the more we can go within, the greater we shall become. So I'm going to end this talk right now. And I want you to think about what it feels like to go within, to commune naturally with your own sun called the heart. Heart. Flip those letters around, you have EARTH. Your heart is like the earth, the center of an equal arm cross. You're able to hear because you have ears to hear with. And there's a certain rate or a certain spin or a certain speed that everything has to turn. We've heard that phrase, got to get up to speed, right? Got to catch up. But we got to be on the inside, because if we stay on the inside with the heart, we'll hear everything. We'll be clear as a bell. We'll hear the sounding of the bell. We will see the light like a beacon light. All right, everybody. Tomorrow is Swanda at 12 p.m. That's Michelle. Mondays is Audrey Wilson, our medium from the UK, with Whispering Truths. Tuesday, uh, Audrey's on at 9 a.m. our time. Tuesdays at 12 noon is Donna of Dominion Tarot. And Thursdays at 1 is me. So this is another episode of Wisdom Keys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Replay this at any time. Maybe you might hear some other things that were planted in there as in terms of seeds. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your tomorrow. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Sunday, whatever you're going to do. But, take care of yourself. Because it's up to you to do that. I love all you guys. My grace is your grace. As my spirit family says. Until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing. As we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. Bye now.